Today we are out here to finally fix this little mess right here. As you can tell, I shouldn't be able to just pull it out. And my little handiwork there that we'll also be fixing today, because if you pull it too hard, tape's holding it down. Tape is doing its job. But, oh, I should never have done this. Honestly, I don't even know if I was the one that did this. Might have been my former bandmate, he who should not be named. Oh man, that's gonna be real fun to clean. But that's on the agenda for today. Should be a good one. Should be a nice little project. This thing has been put through the ringer, as they say. You see it's got a chip in the finish all the way leading to there. So that was probably point of impact at some time. As I said, I got the pearly gates on here, Seymour Duncans. This is a Seymour Duncan as well. A lot more money in the pickups than the entire rest of the guitar. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started by removing this old hunk of shit and rewiring it with a new thing. All right, let's see if we can go ahead and get started, because this is taking forever. I mean, the connection is already hardly there. All right, that's one. That's the negative clear. Now the positive. I'm just inhaling this too. That's probably great. All right, rest in peace. Okay, now I've really gooched it here, to quote Dave's World Fun World of Stuff, or whatever his channel is, because there's next to nothing for the negative wire here. So what I'm gonna have to do is get in there and split it open a little more. Honestly, I should just see if all the wires in here are still good. It has been a long time. Pull the wire, yeah. All right, we'll do it this way. Can you tell I know what I'm doing? And you already know I don't know, man. I got some wire strippers here. Warning, wear safety goggles. All right, so what is going on here is that these wires, while wired together, are still wired a bit separately. Separately? I don't know. Because obviously they wanted to make these guitars as cheap as possible, and that is very evident in every last bit of engineering in this guitar. So I feel good with the amount of exposed wire there. I have to go pick up that thing I threw earlier, if I can find it. Boy, do I feel silly. Here it is. All right. So that would make it here. And then the negative would go. And because I've gotten pretty good at this part with the American-made Fender Strat that I still have it. It was a bitch, a Rooney Dooney, when it came to just unplugging, or just coming undone all the time. And it was a real hassle and super frustrating, because it's like, that is an American guitar, and it's behaving like a foreign-made guitar. I'm gonna grab a seat instead of bending over, killing my back here. Oh wow, I'm not even gonna be able to strip this. That's good. Don't you just love having to do this literally with some precision so you don't cut the entire wire? I love that. I'm a huge fan of that. If you aren't testing yourself along every step of the way, in every process you have, in every little thing you need to do, oh my God, I'm about to get it. I'm about to get it on the first fucking try. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Nearly there, folks. All right. And just like that, we have enough wire. And I know 1,000,001 people are gonna be like, and by 1,000,001 people, I mean maybe one person, because we're averaging about 5 or 6 views a video here, which is great. Thank you everyone watching. But if anybody knows how to solder, I just know somebody's gonna be like, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it so wrong. You're gonna kill yourself if you keep doing it this way. Drop a comment. What's worse, the smell of, what's worse for you? The smell of a soldering iron or cigarette smoke? I'd love to know. I feel like I would much rather be inhaling this. Crap, I'm getting it on the actual input jack. That's not good. This has to be the messiest soldering job I've ever done. And I started when I was 14. I know some people are gonna be like, no, you're supposed to drop it onto there. You tell me how I'm supposed to drop it when it does not want to leave the soldering iron half the time. Damn it, it fell again. Okay. Now there are some real wizards with soldering irons out there. How they do it is beyond me. I really don't know. Maybe one day I'll learn properly. And we're through there. We'll give it a wrap. I might have just stabbed myself, but we're okay. And then another drop of solder. We're nearly there. We are nearly there. Oops, I'm melting the casing of the wire. That's good. If I could stop inhaling this shit. Let's see if we lay it on its side. Can I get a better drop? I mean, God, this is just such a messy solder. I just need to practice, really, is the issue here. It also doesn't help that my soldering iron is so dirty. That's a much cleaner solder. Okay, let's see if I can do that on this side now. It's the crazy thing about heat transfer is this whole thing is getting warm. Okay, now here's something we hope you'll really like. I got the fucking other wire stuck. Okay, now let's clean up that solder. That is just way too messy for my taste. How funny I am to think I wanted to do this more professionally. A comedian even. I have no training. I just come in here with a soldering iron and say, hey guys, watch this. And I'm completely fucking up this input jack now. Just putting solder all over it. All over it, man. Oh God. Ah, they got you again. This is how they get you. Remember, folks, we don't know who they is, but one day we'll find out. That's gonna look really nice. Maybe I should just use 2 silvers. Call it a day there. Wow. You know what's funny? I just did all that, and look at where it's wired. On the outside. Now I know what you're thinking. Nick, how are you gonna get it so it goes here? We do it again. You know, it's good. It means I get a second shot at ruining this input jack. And that's really good. I am getting better at this. When I was a kid, instead of properly removing any solder, I would come in with, you know, the brute strength of a 15-year-old, and I would just rip them off with no regard for actually properly taking them off. Which means my soldering jobs would look a whole lot messier. Boom, look at that. All right, now we gotta clean this off because this is not gonna provide the best noise. I mean, it'll probably be fine. All my other guitars would probably look like this and are fine, but I would just like to do it right once. One time, man. I almost did it again. I almost went right back into soldering this like nothing changed. And one more thing I'm actually gonna do. Before I continue with soldering on this annoying input jack, a pro tip to fix holes in wood that are just a pain in the ass to fix because they continually get bigger and bigger, is you take a couple toothpicks and some super glue, especially if this is a hole that you're gonna drill right back into. But what you do is you take toothpicks, you jam it down in the hole that you're trying to fill with super glue, and then you break off all the toothpicks so it's level. Sand it down if you have to. I'm not gonna sand it because I don't wanna accidentally sand the finish on this guitar. And then once the super glue dries, it basically acts as like new wood, and you can literally screw right back into it. I've fixed many a loose strap button that way. Everybody has a loose strap button up on near their neck. It happens all the time. Sometimes it happens on the back side of the guitar. That's neither here nor there about the workmanship of guitars. It is more just so it's something that's going to happen every once in a while. So it's good to know how to fix it. And right now I'll show you how to do that. Us guitar players suffer from so many different things, and this is just another one of them. It sucks. It sucks so bad. First thing you really want to do is with your lead toothpick, get a good amount of glue on it. Obviously you don't want to go too far up on the toothpick, and you don't want to put too much on it. And that's all. You don't want to put more on any other ones because in case you don't know how displacement works, as you add more things into a hole that has liquid in it, the liquid will come out, obviously. All right, I think 3 is probably the max I'm going to get in here. Shall we try a 4th and see what happens? What is wrong with half of these toothpicks? Another one. It looks like a chipmunk got to this one. Can you see that? We might be able to get a 5th in there. Shit, why not? There we go. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I think that is plenty. So, now you may be thinking, what is next? My favorite part. Snap them off. They are going to break literally where you need them to break. This one didn't even break. It means it wasn't going to fit. It was never meant to be. Oh shit, I'm pulling it right out. And if you can, it's good to just kind of keep jamming the other sides in there to try and fill this as much as humanly possible. You want this to be jam-packed with wood because you're basically making a whole new surface to drill into. And obviously, if that surface is, you know, porous or there's not many, whatever, I don't know what I'm trying to say. This is kind of like, I don't know if I'd call it a substitute for liquid wood so much as a supplement. You can do a couple different things here. And I'm pretty happy with that. So here, if you can tell, probably should have done it before and after. Here is a hole without anything. That's where we're at with this. Now we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming of soldering this guy up. And like I said, this is just gonna have to sit overnight. You really want it to be extra dry because you're gonna be taking a power tool to it. Now that I'm through the actual place I need to be, I can give a second shot at soldering this bad boy up. When I'm doing this, I like to wrap. I take the wire through the actual post and then I wrap that around. Once it's through that hole, I'll wrap it around just to kind of give it some extra security. I've never seen if I'm supposed to do that. I've never read if that's a good practice. I could be hurting things by doing this. But when I started doing this, I used to not even put it through the hole. You know, I think I'm kind of making progress here. Let's pull out some lead. I got a headache. I feel good. Definitely don't have lead poisoning. Spin this around. Do I make you nervous? Wow. All right. Let's get in there and drop a bead on each. It's loose on the peg. It's got solder all over it, but it's loose on the peg, which means I did not give a proper contact of solder to the peg, from the wire to the peg. which is fine. But this is where things get dicey. By dicey, I just mean we have to start adding more solder, and if I didn't get it on the first try, I get pissed. Because I'm a millennial, apparently, and I need that instant gratification. You know, it's funny, depending on who you ask, I'm either a millennial or a zoomer. As somebody born in '96. And I think it depends the age, how that person leans politically, who they're mad at that day. You know, there's a whole bunch of things that depends on. I'm not sure where I was going with that, but I'm happy with this. I'm very happy with this. There's two solid connections. I'm wiggling them both around. They're not moving. I'm actually trying to push on it, and nothing's doing. So that's great. Next is the fun part of screwing this guy in. Wow, dude. It's crazy the grip it has already. Doesn't. Fuck it. Take a hammer directly to the guitar. When in doubt. Right? Who cares? All right. Oh shit. That took an angle. There's one. I know what you're thinking. Nick, why not test this before you go ahead and permanently... And I'll tell you why. Don't tell me what to do. That's why. Now we take this bad boy upstairs, plug her in very carefully as this is still loose. Actually, what we can do in the meantime is put one screw in. No, we can't. Because I fucked up that screwdriver by hammering it. All right. Just breaking everything. Just want to make sure it's... Oh, fuck. We might have to do this on both. Oh, shit. That came right out. All right. So, in case you missed it the first time, here is how you fix a hole that got too big for its britches on a wood guitar, plywood, whatever the fuck this is. And no, the answer, look at me when I say this, the answer is never a bigger screw. Never. Don't ever put a bigger screw. You will be screwing yourself if you put a bigger screw. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Again, second time I said that, take a drink. Got some toothpicks, got some super glue. In my professional opinion, it does not matter what kind of glue you use, as long as it is super. Boom, there's one. Let's see how many we can fit in this one. I don't even know what the number was on the last one. I know I got 5 in there initially, and then they all started coming out pretty easily. So, kind of lost count there. Honestly, broken. I know I didn't do this on the first one. This is something I sometimes do if I just need a little extra help getting everything down in there. And it's okay to ask for help if you can't get everything down in there. I would just be very careful about who you ask. I don't know what I'm saying, man. I've inhaled way too much lead for my own good. That's just gonna have to be how it is for now. And then we'll be back when I screw this in properly. But right now, we're gonna go upstairs, we're gonna plug her in, and hope to God it works. If not, we'll be back here. All right, we're upstairs in the lab, whatever you wanna call it. And still have Khalil's guitar. That was a fun little project, it took no time at all. And I know you were asking, Nick, why do you still have Khalil's guitar? Weren't you guys doing weekly guitar lessons? And then, weren't you guys gonna make the Voodoo Man music video? And the answer is yes to both of those. I started working, and that'll be part of another vlog. I started an LLC, but that's a whole nother story. I don't know where I'm going with this. I got busy, is really what happened. And I need to make time for that again, because that is something I want to do. So, anyways, I have the input jack right here, the guitar right here. That's in. Volume is up. Now we turn it on. Perfect tuning. I love it. All right. Gonna very carefully hold this up so this guy just stays somewhat put. So. My fingers are so sticky from all the damn tape residue that playing this guitar is a nightmare. What is that? What the fuck am I trying to say? A little bit of humbucking action. Fuck. It's probably not good for that thing to just fall out. We'll lean back and play. How about that? Kick my legs up. You know, my fingers are so sticky though. This sucks. Probably should just wash my hands. Pro tip: you want your strings to last longer, wash your hands before you play, and wipe your guitar down after you play. I don't do either of those things. It got to a point when we were playing shows every weekend, sometimes like 3 or 4 shows a weekend. It was pretty much a running gag. I was gonna break a string. And the funny thing is, I never did anything to remedy that. I just kept breaking strings. And much to the chagrin, is that the word I'm looking for, of my bandmates, they were not very happy with me about that, so. But I would say, find somebody better. They couldn't. And that's why we're no longer a band. You might say, now Nick, is that an ego thing? Could be. Man, I'm gonna be playing this guitar a lot. That's good. Probably should have just left the tape on that for the time being. But I hated it. It made me so sad to see tape on a guitar. Oh boy. And single coil. Oh. Shit, man, I might just go ahead and buy more pearly gates on the next guitar. You don't know. We're in good shape, boys. All right, next step is to get this thing secured back into place. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic, to say the least. we're back. 24 hours later. Through the magic of movie editing, we are already back. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that convenient for you? For me, there is no fast traveling in real life, but there is in video. So we got this thing fully installed, it works, everything's good, and then we dropped in some toothpicks and super glue into these 2 holes to try and, you know, screw the control panel or whatever this thing is called. I know guitars. Back in. So it'll fit just like that. And then from there, we'll have to get some Goo Gone or whatever and clean it up a bit because the tape left some gorgeous residue. Basically, all we're going to be doing is drilling these screws into the body and calling it a day. Very simple stuff. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally as I try to do this. Like a freaking bot. Oh my God. Don't worry, guys. I know guitars. Oh, geez. Much better. And look at that. A nice solid piece. So yeah, that is a wrap on this. I feel good about it. I'm happy with it. It was the best $15 I've spent in a long time to get this thing up and running again. And if you have any questions, obviously drop a comment and let me know. What else is there to ask? You know, it's a pretty simple positive, negative wiring. The fact that there was 4 contacts on the thing does not make any difference in how you wire it up, which is good. I did think I was going to be splitting some hairs there, and I'm glad I didn't. So in the next guitar that I do end up building, whenever that is, I'm really starting to like the sound of these pearly gates again. Not again, I never didn't like them, but it had just been so long since I played this guitar that I truly forgot what they sounded like. So I'm eager to go upstairs again, plug it back in, and jam out for a little bit while all this footage dumps into my computer. Peace.